3 in the morning, staring at the ceiling, doing the math on exactly how little sleep you'll get if you fall asleep right now. And the harder you try to force it, the more wide awake you feel. If you're living with bipolar depression, I need to tell you something that's going to sound backwards. You are trying to fix your sleep at the wrong end of the day. You're fighting it at bedtime. And bedtime was never where this battle is actually won. Today I'll show you why standard sleep advice quietly backfires for a bipolar brain, and hand you a 5-step morning toolkit you can start tomorrow. But stay with me, because there's one specific kind of bad day, the one where you're exhausted and wired at the same time. That ordinary sleep advice makes actively worse. I'll show you how to spot it and exactly what to do instead. That's the part that matters most. I'm Clara, from Bipolar Clarity. Let's take a deep breath and make this simple. First, let's name where you actually are, because this isn't sadness. Sadness fits a situation. You lose a job, you grieve a loss, and it eases as life moves on. Bipolar depression is different. It's a biological event. It can arrive completely out of sync with your life, a perfectly fine week, and you still wake up feeling like someone poured wet concrete into your veins. That is not a character flaw, and it is not a lack of willpower. It's an episode. And what makes it bipolar depression, rather than ordinary depression, is your history. Somewhere in your past, your energy ran the other way, up into mania or hypomania. Even if that was years ago, it changes how these lows should be treated today, which is exactly why the usual advice can fail you. So why the heavy limbs, the fog, the wrecked sleep? Picture your body as a 24-hour orchestra, a section for sleep, one for hunger, one for the hormones that wake you, one for focus. In most brains, a conductor stands at the front, keeping everyone in time. In a bipolar brain, that conductor is prone to walking off the stage. And when the conductor leaves, the percussion, your sleep, starts playing at 3 a.m., and the brass, your hunger, goes silent. Everything falls out of time. That's the circadian disruption you can feel in your body. Now here's the key that unlocks the whole video. You cannot force the orchestra back into rhythm by forcing yourself to sleep. Sleep is a surrender, not something you can will into happening. But you can summon the conductor back. Scientists even have a word for the things that call the conductor to the podium: zeitgebers, time givers. And the single most powerful time giver you have does not happen at night. It happens the moment you wake up, which is step 1, the wake anchor. This is the backwards move that actually works. If you want to sleep better on Friday night, you change what you do on Friday morning. Your brain's clock starts its count the moment light hits your eyes. So if you wake at 7 on Monday, but stay in bed until 11 on Tuesday because you feel low, you've just handed your conductor jet lag without ever leaving the house. And here's the hard part, said plainly. The depression wants you in that bed. It whispers, just 1 more hour, and then I'll feel ready. That is the lie. The bed is very often where the depression breeds. So this week, pick one wake time. It does not have to be early. If 9 a.m. is realistic, pick 9 a.m. But you hit it 7 days a week. When the alarm goes off, you don't have to feel good. You just have to stand up. Step 2 follows straight from it, the light dose. Once you're up, you signal the conductor. And the strongest signal a human brain has is light. When light hits your retina, it tells your brain to switch off melatonin and switch on the hormones that carry energy. In bipolar depression, that signal runs weak, so we amplify it. Within 20 minutes of waking, get light in your eyes. Open the curtains, step onto the balcony, or in winter, just sit by your brightest window. Not a marathon. 2 to 5 minutes. Wake at your anchor, get your light, and watch for the fog to lift even 1%. Now, that leaden, wading through wet sand feeling has a name. Psychomotor retardation. Your brain is literally firing slower signals to your muscles. So step 3 is the dimmer switch. When you're manic, you're an on/off switch. When you're depressed, you have to work like a dimmer. The mistake almost everyone makes is aiming for happy. I'm depressed, so I should go to the gym for an hour. That gap is far too wide. You'll fail, and then you'll pile shame on top of the depression. So don't try to flip the switch to on, just turn the dimmer up 10%. The principle is called behavioral activation, and its one rule flips what you'd expect. Action comes before motivation. You will not feel like doing it. You do the small thing first, and the feeling may follow. So on a high-gravity day, run this checklist. 1. Reduce friction. Tonight, put water and your meds by the bed. Lay tomorrow's clothes on the chair. Shrink the distance between thinking and doing. 2. 1 micro movement. Don't promise to clean the kitchen. Promise to pick up 1 fork. Don't promise a mile. Promise the mailbox and back. 3. 1 micro connection. Depression feeds on isolation. So send 1 text to 1 person. Thinking of you, no need to reply. That single message breaks the seal of silence. And now we're at the part I promised you at the very start. The one that matters most. Because getting it wrong can send you the wrong way entirely. Step 4. Catching mixed features. Have you ever felt exhausted, heavy, and hopeless? And at the very same time, your thoughts were racing, your foot wouldn't stop tapping, and you felt irritable like you were crawling out of your skin? That's a mixed state, depression with mixed features. And it is, honestly, one of the most uncomfortable states in all of bipolar disorder, tired and wired at once. Why does spotting it matter so much? Because if you walk into a doctor's office and just say, "I'm sad and I have no energy," they may reach for something that boosts energy. But if you're already wired underneath, that boost can pour fuel straight onto the agitation, so you track it. Start a 3-line log in your phone. Line 1, hours slept. Line 2, mood, low, medium, or high. Line 3, physical energy, low, medium, or high. And when you see mood low but energy high, that is a mixed feature. And it's golden data, the kind that can change your whole treatment plan. If the idea of tracking all this feels like one more impossible task, you're not alone. I send out one plain English tool every week in my newsletter to make managing this a little lighter. It's free, and the link is in the description. Step 5 is about the voice in your head, because depression is a liar, and it works from a very specific script. You'll always feel this way. You're a burden to everyone. There's no point in trying. Those are not truths, they're symptoms. A fever makes you feel hot. Depression makes you feel hopeless. So use a tool called labeling. When a dark thought lands, don't argue with it and don't wrestle it, just name it. My brain is producing a depressive thought right now. Or I'm having the thought that I'm a burden. Feel the tiny bit of distance that opens up? You are not the thought, you're the one watching it. And I have to pause here because safety comes first. Bipolar depression can get very dark. If the thoughts you're labeling start to sound like plans to end your life, or if you feel unsafe, that is a medical emergency, and it is not a failure of character. It is a symptom of the illness. In the US and Canada, you can call or text 988 to reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Please put that number in your phone right now. You deserve to stay safe until this episode lifts. And it will lift. Episodes have a beginning, a middle, and an end. One more for the people who love you, because they mean well and they so often say the wrong thing. Just think positive. Have you tried yoga? It lands as dismissive. So hand them a better role. Tell them, you can't fix a chemical event, but you can be a body double. A body double is someone who simply sits with you. They don't need to talk. They can read a book while you lie on the couch. Their calm presence actually helps steady your nervous system. Give them the exact words. I don't need a pep talk. I just need you to sit with me, maybe bring me a tea. It helps me feel less alone in the dark. Let's recap the plan. Because we are quitting the bedtime battle and starting with the morning. 1. Set your wake anchor. 1 time, 7 days a week. 2. Get your light dose. 2 minutes of sky or window right after waking. 3. Use the dimmer. Aim for 10%, not 100. 4. Track your data and watch for tired but wired. 5. Label the thoughts. A symptom, not a truth. And your homework is a single 1-week experiment. Pick your wake anchor time today and set the alarm. For 7 days, hit that time, get your light, and write your 3 lines of data. Don't worry about how much you sleep. Don't worry about how you feel. Just protect the anchor. Because you are building a foundation, and it takes time for the conductor to walk back onto the stage. But every single morning that you wake at the same time, you are tapping the baton on the music stand, calling the whole orchestra back into rhythm. If this helped your brain make a little more sense, please subscribe. We're building a plain English library for every part of this journey. And your next step is on your screen right now. Hypomania versus mania. Where the line really is. Understanding the upside of this illness is how you learn to read your whole pattern. I'll see you there, and be gentle with yourself today.